Hello, and welcome back to Depth Perception. We discuss movies and dive into how films direct the way we experience them. We create a perception of sound, a perception of sight, with a dimension of mind. We move into a land of both shadow and substance, of themes and ideas. I am Mr. Vozly, and returning with me are KMax.
And we're back!
And the Tin Man.
Hello.
You do it a lot better. I was waiting for you to do it.
Jump onto the same.
You do an excellent.
We're back.
So good.
That's right. Mr. Vozly back with another season. Thought you'd seen the last of the old Depth Perception, perhaps. Thought the network bigwigs would have sent Vozly and his negative Q rating on a slow boat to Shanghai. Bonus points to whoever knows what that's from. For any new listeners, this is a movie podcast where we focus on the hows and whys of movies. How is a movie trying to deliver its message? Why do I feel the way I do when I watch it? Why are my pants down? We're not here to bash movies or even rate them, but rather appreciate what we can and break down what is presented to us. We typically do a themed episode, followed by one or two movie episodes that relate to that theme. So we are three dudes, three dads, three husbands with three different careers serving the public. I am a witty nurse, KMax a sassy educator, and Tin Man, the long arm of the law. Well, police officer anyway. The three of us have very different views and tastes in movies, and hopefully even different from those listening. This podcast will often talk about lenses or the gaze in which we are observing a movie. We all have our own perspectives that shape how we perceive what is happening on screen. That is the beauty of discussing the movies we do, and our biggest hope is that we inspire conversation and broaden the lenses of our listeners. Given the structure of our show, heavy spoilers are indicated for every movie we discuss. We also do not give a scene-by-scene retelling of each movie, as we assume you are here for something deeper than that. All right. Today's episode is brought to you by a Season 1 review / Season 2 preview. We will go over some of our favorite moments from Season 1, share some listener feedback, talk about what we personally have learned, and preview the chapters and movies for Season 2. But first, how are you guys? How was break? Are you watching any new movies?
It's been different. It's been good. There's a lot going on, right? Christmas, the seasons, a little bit of the injury bug, for lack of a better term, in the Braley household. Not just the Braley household, but the Mama, Daddy, Braley, and all those folks. And turns out we're all getting a little older. And I'm pretty sure none of us are getting out of here alive. So navigating some waters lately, which are, it's kind of cool to see, being a faith dude, seeing God even in those moments. It's been kind of a strange blessing to see a new chapter of life unfold, and God's still there. That's kind of awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Tin Man, how's break?
Oh, it's been busy. I got a lot going on at work. Basketball season picked up.
I thought it was volleyball.
I do both. And then kids are getting older. Sports. I have one kid that's overseas for study abroad, and that's a lot. So it was a nice little break.
What country are they in again?
She's in France.
France.
Strasbourg.
Of all places. I don't know where I'm going with that.
But it was a nice little break that we had, and probably for next, I'm going to have recruits to train for the next 3 months straight. So I'll be somewhat not available, but somewhat focused on movies and the podcast up until those next 3 months. There'll be some splitting, some focus.
We'll be trying to cram in where we can on Tin Man, if you know what I mean.
Get the oil can.
Get the butter. Get the butter.
You guys watch any movies during this break?
I haven't watched any of the new movies. I've watched some movies from the pod from the first season.
Oh.
I found myself watching Oppenheimer, big shocker. Oppenheimer's Forrest Gump. I've watched a couple more times in the off season.
Oh yeah,
I think it was on DirecTV, so it was on. It just came on. I sought out Tremors. I sought out Tremors because, like I told you guys, I'd watched it a long time ago and just like bits and pieces since. And it was it was really entertaining.
Yeah.
It was a really entertaining movie. It's funny how many people I told to watch Shaun of the Dead, because I think it's the same people that had told me to watch it. And it's funny them telling me, I told you to watch that. Because I'm like, you got to see this. And they're like, what do you mean I got to see this? I told you to watch it years ago. I'm like, yeah, I know. But most of the movies that I watched were from our list or things we'd watched already.
I know. I've been listening to.
Sorry.
Man, Tin Man.
I opened it 3 different times.
Is someone playing pickleball? Under
I did it
the
under
table?
I did it under the table. It was even louder.
That's what a Tin Man's zipper sounds like, apparently.
Broke a weld.
Chastity zipper.
Man, made me lose my train of thought.
Movies? You seen any new movies lately?
Movies, yes. It was... Oh, yeah, movies from the pod. Nope, it's gone.
Gave it a shot. I went on a trip recently, and every time I'm on a plane, so we like to fly Delta a lot. So Delta gives you the movie list, and every seat's got like a screen with it. So we like to fly Delta and watch new movies whenever I'm on it. The ones I got to watch were one called The Wasp. That's with Natalie Dormer, and I can't think of this female's name, but she's in one of the James Bonds. She's in the newer James Bond movies. That one wasn't too bad. The Wasp, that one I might get into. The other one I saw was Late Night with the Devil. So it's like it's a Johnny Carson rival late night show, and it's this one host. It's the guy from the polka dot guy from
Prisoners.
Oh, he's in Prisoners too. Yeah, he's
Dark
the red
Knight?
herring guy. Yeah, Dark Knight. He's like the one police officer guy that gets arrested after they try to assassinate. I think they actually they pretend to shoot Gordon, and
He's the one that Two-Face in the alley is doing his coin.
He's in the new Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Suicide Squad movie with the colored polka dots everywhere. That guy plays the host on a 1960s, 1970s talk show, and in that they have like the Halloween episode. So they have like a seance. They have like someone who can like hear spirits, and then there's one guest who is possessed by a demon, and they bring her on the show, and hilarity ensues. Now it gets wild, and demon interacts with the cast, and it goes crazy. Just gets wild and deteriorates completely after that.
I just ordered that one, actually. I ordered like 10 movies in the last week.
Yeah.
Seen it.
That's one of them.
He's going to own it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was neat. And I like, before this podcast started, I was like, I hate horror movies. And then it was like, what's your most influential movies? I'm like, well, they're like half horror movies. But, and then after seeing like a horror versatility episode we did and stuff, so I'm like, I'll give it a shot. It's a horror movie, but it's an odd one with a weird twist to it. And I'll give it a shot. And I thought it was an interesting movie. It was neat. It was a really neat movie. I'd suggest it.
And like you can also, because there's a lot of horror is like half something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's oh, well, I'm interested in the other half, just to not say
it wasn't It wasn't a straight slasher. It wasn't a straight ghost story, haunting type thing. It was, you followed a character who he's trying to rebuild the show because they're losing to Carson every season, this is sweeps week. His wife had recently died, and is like, this is kind of what he needs to win it back. And so he's pulling all the tricks from up his sleeve, all the rabbits out of the hat, to try to get this one big show to be as big as possible. All the content you could possibly get. It's sweeps week. We need to beat Carson tonight. And so every time there's like this demon thing, nobody's feeling comfortable with this. Let's back off. Nope, we're pushing forward. So you get the character, you understand him and why he's pushing so hard, and why everything falling apart is kind of like on his shoulders throughout the story. It's cool. It's a cool movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was really neat.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it. Let's see. So I realized I didn't say how my break went. It was a lot of longing to be recording. I've been bugging these two guys every couple days. Oh, I got this idea for a new chapter and this idea, and here's how the next season's gonna go. Here's the season for after that season. So it's a lot of chapters and ideas coming down the pipeline. Hopefully we keep it going, because I think it'll be some good conversation with the topics that I wrote down. But as far as movies go, I watched quite a handful of new ones, or at least movies that I haven't seen before. One of them I've been meaning to see for, I don't know, 7 years or so. Killing of a Sacred Deer. Colin Farrell, Nicole Kidman.
I never heard of it.
The one guy that's the new Joker, Barry something. I could be wrong on that name.
Barry Manilow.
It's like Kehoe or something like that, right? It's pronounced like that. He was in the Immortals movie.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know about no Immortals. But so I was interested in that one because it was the same guy that did The Lobster.
Eternals movie. That's what it was. Eternals.
So I don't know have you guys seen The Lobster? Also
Yeah.
with Colin Farrell.
Yeah, that was a neat one.
Yeah,
that one was weird.
It was like it was different from a lot of I guess based a lot of on concept, and also sparks a lot of conversation. The Lobster, but so it was the same guy did The Killing of the Sacred Deer. Different type of viewing, I'd say, and a lot of questions. So that one it sticks with you, but I feel like I'd have to watch it a few more times, or maybe even have to resort to reading up on it and seeing what intentions were. But I also saw Subservience. That was all the rage on Netflix.
Yep, I did see that one too.
And I, unlike the Tin Man, watched the full thing. I know it was pretty famous for one specific scene. You get what is that guy in Jurassic Park called? Is this auto erotica? Instead of auto, whatever the word is.
I don't even know.
But yeah, you get some robot in the home that looks like Megan Fox. Things are going to happen.
The wife's got like a heart. Is it a heart replacement or whatever?
Something.
She's
in the
heart
hospital.
condition. She's in the hospital. It's a futuristic society where they have like robotic like butlers,
like maids and
butlers, and they pick.
and
Looks
of
like Megan
course
Fox.
they model them like Megan Fox. And
These for sale? Like right now?
No, not
Oh,
right.
my bad. Okay. All right. I was asking for a friend.
not me, a guy.
Even the guy selling the robot to him is like, "Oh, this is the one you want." Like,
Is it really?
okay.
That
I get it.
Veronica Vaughn.
Yeah,
And I would know.
that's the one you want, huh? Nice.
But it was pretty interesting for the first half, but it reminded me of what's the doll movie that came out a couple
Megan.
years ago? Megan?
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of that once it hit a certain spot. Moana 2, took the kids out to the theater to watch that one.
Oh, nice. What movie theater did you guys go to?
It was the local Capitol Theater in Niagara Falls there. And it was nice. We had the entire theater to ourselves. So I was able to take a couple of pictures of the kids watching. And my girl loves movies. And so she's like on the edge of her seat just like staring at the screen. And both have watched the whole thing straight through. And didn't have to get up, didn't have to tell them to sit back down or anything. So must have been a good movie.
Yeah, nice.
And then the other one that comes to mind, Nosferatu.
Oh, that's one I wanted to see.
That one will be in the podcast.
All right.
I don't think this season, but I believe in season 3. So I don't want to say too much about that one because, like I said, that one will make an appearance here. All right. So, yeah, that was our break. So we watched some movies, and I'm sure we watched other ones. Like, I rewatched a bunch of stuff. I rewatched The Rock with Tin Man.
Yep, we watched
a couple
The
weeks
Rock.
ago.
Oh, that's
Classic.
nice. I did catch Complete Unknown, too, the Bob Dylan.
Oh, you
flick.
did?
Yeah. That was
How was that one?
What'd you think of that?
Awesome. Loved it.
Nice.
Loved it. The kid can sing, too, because the kid
Can he?
that, I don't say the Dune guy. He's talented because
Chalamet.
it's funny,
Timothée.
hearing the story behind, he would overproduce it, and folks just kept saying, no, do it live take and record it from scratch, right from what he's doing right now, with no help. And it sounded more authentic, and so most of the recordings, from what I understand, were scratch right on the set, him just playing with the guitar and singing them, and that's cool. And then he was a musical guest and a talent on Saturday Night Live a couple weeks ago, and he just absolutely killed the Dylan songs as a musical guest.
Oh, wow.
Which is super cool, man. Like, was it like art imitating life, imitating art kind of a thing?
Yeah.
I was like, this is really cool.
Bob Dylan also has like a local famous spot where he played the old gym.
Oh yeah.
On the reservation.
On
He
the
came in at the old
Tuscarora
gym
reservation.
and then
Pictures
just,
and everything of.
Yeah, it's
there's
so
a YouTube
hilarious.
video of it. It's on
Is
YouTube
it really?
now. Yeah, you
My
can watch
mom's
the
on the
video of it.
YouTube video that looks. I shouldn't say it. I always look at it and I'm like, Mom, you enjoying yourself, huh? That's not even me.
I was gonna say you could see your sister.
Yeah.
She could see her in there.
Yeah.
there's
That's
a
not
couple
even
other,
me.
There's a couple other people. Yeah. Just live show at a local old gym.
Just playing. I mean,
Just walking around playing live.
What a cool thing, man.
Yeah. Yep.
At the old gym, Clan League floor.
Mm-hmm. A lot of history there.
Yep.
But there was a. Do you guys watch Only Murders in the Building?
Yeah.
I have not.
So there's an idea that was brought up during that show, the most recent season, I believe. Eva Longoria.
Just season 1, me.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I think it's season 3. I could be wrong on that, but they're like making a movie based on like the season 3 is about them making a movie of the podcasters. So
That's funny.
so like Eva Longoria is supposed to be Selena Gomez's character, and they're following along with the podcasters trying to get like the who's the lone wolf from The Hangover? What was his name again?
Galifianakis?
Yes, he's supposed to be Martin Short's character.
Oh my gosh.
But they bring up their the actors. It's kind of hard to explain, but the actors that are supposed to be portraying the podcasters bring up the idea. They said, we're basically like, we learn all these crazy skills to play parts in movies, so we are useful because we can actually,
Yeah.
like if I learn to be Bob Dylan, I got to sing. If I learn to be a detective, I got to be able to handle handle weapons and actually do some sleuthing. So it's like the actors
cool.
become like these Swiss Army people, that can do all these cool things. So with the actor becoming the musical guest, it's just.
And I'm known for I'm horrible. I'm the film industry should hate me. This is an admission of guilt. I'm a theater hopper. Like I will get a movie And if I see one that's started or just starting out, and there's nobody watching, I'll duck into the other movie and get a 2-for-1.
All right, officer.
I know.
What say ye?
I can tell you the movie theater in my jurisdiction is no longer working. He's fine. It's outside my jurisdiction.
You heard it. Official ruling.
Listen,
I'm off the clock.
All our
Clock.
listeners.
I do nothing off the clock.
and listen, that's not even the worst part of this story. It's not even close.
Oh,
The worst part is I ducked into the new Nicole Kidman flick. Not for any reason other than curiosity. Mild curiosity. Baby Girl?
Oh yeah.
My.
you said wild curiosity.
Wild? Did you say wild? Yeah.
It wasn't until I was there for about 5 minutes, and it was real wild curiosity. And I have a lot of
You
stories.
have your reward.
I've already said too much, but I watched every frame of that disgusting movie twice.
Was that Always Sunny with Mac? It's like disgusting. Where?
But like she was in a movie about depravity, not only Eyes Wide Shut, but there was another movie that she was in that was very similar about a housewife who wasn't satisfied, who had ventured out. And this was another kind of take on it. And I'm like, these men, I feel bad for Keith Urban because these men are handsome. Tom Cruise.
Freud's picking her movie roles.
That's
here.
right.
right,
Yeah,
Freud.
seriously. And I gotta tell you what, she holds it together too. What age she is? She still got it. Still got it. God bless her.
Yeah.
She'll make an appearance on the
On the pod?
podcast.
Bring her out.
She has a seat right
Bring
here.
her
Got a
out.
seat.
Bring her out.
Who else
Who's
do we
got
have?
free passes?
Yep.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Burr.
And Guillermo.
Guillermo del Toro.
Yep.
That's right.
And you guys put his seat next to me. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
That one's for Guillermo.
Anyway.
Tin Man's got a folding chair, so there's no room there.
Yeah,
So I guess leaves other spot.
it's fine. It's fine.
Well, if it ever gets out to them, free invite. Invites out.
Coffee's good.
Coffee's good.
Come on in. The water's fine.
I just listened to an episode where I'm like, "Yep, you guys can come on down, and coffee's available for a small price. If you guys want to bring a pizza, that's fine."
And tipping is not a city in China, as Viola says.
Well, let's talk about season 1. Our favorite moments, movies, chapters, gags, what have you.
My goodness.
Season 1. All right, I'll start off. So this is a movie that I never watched until the podcast brought it up. It's going to be the movie Mother, since we're talking about Jennifer Lawrence. That was a movie that took me personally, like on a journey, I guess, going through it, having to fight with maybe my personal stances on watching it and what I thought the movie was telling me, and then how I interpreted it. So it was a lot going through it, because it's very arduous, very visceral movie, and it really pulls the audience into kind of all the chaos and the trauma and the of it all. And so trying to pick that apart, I really enjoyed the process that we try to do on all these movies with that one particularly.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed that, like going through it, making notes, going back and watching it again, picking it apart. I even went to watch interviews that Darren Aronofsky did to other people about it, like just to get his point of view on it too, because I'm like, am I off the mark? Because I made my own opinion watching it, then wanted to hear his side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of just solidified what I believed, or gave more nuance to what I kind of had a weak grasp on, and it kind of tightened it up a little bit. So I really enjoyed that. Just that whole thing. I wouldn't say it's like a one point or one gag or one, what's it called? I feel like that whole podcast, what it took me through to get to understand it more fully, I really enjoyed that in its entirety.
I think that's interesting too, because leading up to this recording, I kind of been re-listening to the first season, and when it came to talking about like what we want out of movies, what we enjoy out of movies, we talked about the E.T. episode, or in the E.T. episode, you made the comment about, the plot wasn't really moving. It was driven more on the allegory for E.T. So I was kind of like, okay, I could see that, because that was your first time watching it, was for the podcast. And then to go from there, and only a few short episodes later, we're in Mother, which is entirely allegory based.
The plot does not make sense without the allegory.
And for it to be such a crazy, interesting, cinematic experience, I thought it was pretty cool to see that the doors kind of open up a little bit. And it's like, well, yeah, but movies can also, like allegorical movies, can also be really interesting if you come at it from this angle here. So I wanted to make that comment, especially since Mother made one of your memorable moments from season.
Yeah, that's probably that's one of my more memorable moments, was that whole experience, that whole thing. It kind of like it more or less paved the way for how I try to understand the next movies that we go through, because I did not do any film studying. I did not any theater majoring. Of the three of us, I think I'm the least learned in this realm of the media.
But that's the thing is, that's what I love though, is because movies are for the masses. They're for people around the world to enjoy. And you gotta think 99.9 of them don't have any training or any insight or classes or education on film history or anything like that. And so it's an important aspect of our discussion, is to have someone that doesn't have any of that and comes from like a very I don't want to say traditional, but like, you got
it's
wife,
pretty much,
kids,
it's like,
house, steady career, like you kind of represent like
Joe Schmo,
like
the normal man.
Normal person, you know. So the very important viewpoint that's brought to the table.
So I'm trying to take on tasks that I haven't had to, or have never been placed in front of. So it's like, try to understand this movie on a level that the directors, the writers, the actors may understand, that's deeper than what you can see up front. And then trying to do that with stuff I've never done before. Because I love movies. I'm a regular. I watch movies all day long. Used to just go show up at the movie theater and see what was playing. I wouldn't, like, that's not a thing people do anymore. Nobody just shows up at the movie theater to go, hey, what's playing? And just, what's the next one on? We'll jump onto that one. That's not a thing people do. And I used to do that back in the day. And I just loved watching movies. It's really neat to go, hey, you love movies because of how it makes you feel, or what journey it takes you on. Let's see if we can go a deeper level and try to see if we can appreciate more about this that you might not see on a surface.
Right.
And so that this movie is probably the first one that opened that door for me.
I think we had a shared experience with that movie. There was a cluster of 3 shows that we did last season within like 7 episodes. There were 3 that hung together for me. Episode 8, Train to Busan, 11, Mother, and then 14, Shaun of the Dead. All 3 of those kind of challenged. It kind of had a challenge to my comfort level of movies in different ways. Like foreign films, I have such attention problems. When I watch subtitles, I'm usually screwed, because that means I have to not just watch it, but I gotta read too, and I gotta decode as I'm trying to take in what's happening on there. And then what I learned from Godzilla -1 is that if you want to watch a performance of a great foreign actor, you probably should watch it in their native tongue with the subtitles.
Yeah.
I feel pretty strongly about that. And so in watching Train to Busan, I didn't know what to expect, and I found myself like surprised like over and over again by, wow, the depth of this movie and how good this movie is and how much more it is than just a zombie movie.
Right.
And it actually made me open up my eyes to there's foreign films out there. And in my ethnocentricity of like, well, if it's America, I can relate more. And yeah, that's true. There's comfort levels we all have. But Train to Busan took me on a journey and challenged me to look at this film from South Korea. Mm-hmm. And that was just this banger of a freaking movie. And with so many payoffs and so many lessons. I was like, wow, that kind of sharpened me to open me up to a whole different field of movies, foreign movies, right? Nice. And then Mother, you just talked about the transaction, that same thing, the challenge it was. That was work. That was heavy lifting. I remember when we saw Voz, I don't know if we wanted to punch him or what. We walked in that day. He's looking at us like he couldn't have been happier. It was probably his finest hour looking at us like, what'd you think? And I'm like, yeah, you son of a gun.
Well, if you listen to the episode, we just kind of like sit in silence to like start it. It's like this awkward like... Am I still friends with you guys?
I don't know if I re-listened to that pod yet. I think that's one of the ones I haven't listened to at all.
You can see that it is,
because I feel like it took us all the way to the end of the episode before we actually like started to understand, like to appreciate it in clarity.
That episode,
slow burn.
It has its own arc to it, because when it started, it was a lot of, this was a tough watch. I didn't enjoy myself. And then as we start talking about it, discussing and diving into it, it was like, I liked how it did this. And, I like that. And then
once the wounds healed a little bit.
There's a point.
That's exactly it.
There's a point where Tin Man was like about to give Aronofsky like a compliment. And like couldn't get it out. I was like, you can do it.
Yeah, I found like I'm a very defensive person, and things that I hold precious, I'm very defensive of. We learned that on What Is a Christmas movie. So, things that I hold precious, I'm very, very defensive of. And faith is something that is I have no there's no lack of passion, and defensiveness on that. And the idea of Mother, watching it the first time through, was I couldn't enjoy it because I was just so set on being defensive about it, right? And then I think I learned a pretty important lesson as far as like consuming something that's not maybe right in my wheelhouse. But I remember kind of looking at what the filmmaker was trying to say. I remember Voz gave me that clue a couple of times on a couple of different movies over last season, just saying, I'm going to help you, but I'm not going to help you. Just think about what message the filmmaker is trying to tell you when you watch it this time. And I did that, and I was like, all right. Furthermore, I actually was a fan of Aronofsky. Is that the guy?
Right.
Because turns out he hates the same things I do about organized religion. And he was really riffing on all of that, the whole film. And I was like, yeah, get him. Make that look absurd. Yes, pick on that pageantry and tradition. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, wait a minute. If my mom heard me saying that, she'd bash me over the head, And I'm thinking, Mom, if you understood what's happening here, the transaction that's happening, you'd probably be sitting there cheering also.
Right.
And so, I mean, that, again, in that 3-film arc in like 7 episodes, the 3 of them that were turning points for me over the season, where I realized I wasn't just going to be listening and kind of viewing and consuming and then regurgitating how it moved me. It actually was making me a better consumer of film and of art and of media. Not and like songs, even like songs that I listen to and albums that I listen to. I've always been pretty good at peeling the onion as far as music goes and things like that. But film, I just was always hesitant to dig into something new because I'm like, well, that's definitely a James movie. Yeah, that's definitely one Voz would like. You know what I mean? I have my movies. And I'm thinking, I'm brave enough and equipped enough now to dig into some movie and find joy there and get something out of that movie.
Yeah.
And I remember I kept saying, who doesn't want more joy? Who doesn't want to have a little more enjoyment out of a little more meat off the bone, as it were? And it's like I don't just have these grass-eating flat teeth now. I got these incisors now where I can dig in and take a chomp at a movie that I have no business understanding, and now I have a shot at it. I mean, I might not, still might not, and it still might not be my thing.
Right.
my wheelhouse.
You at least got like one or two tools for the job.
Yeah. And I got a shot at it. And I think we're both similar that way. I think we both can admit that the growth. And when we get into some of our listener feedback in a bit, I want to cite some very specifics about how it's changed at least a dozen people. Our little podcast changed the way they see film, changed the way they even see some of the perceptions they have, not just in art or in film, but in the way they see the world. When Voz brought up, I'm not going to get specifically into it, but upon further review, he had a little bit of editorial about like political climate. And, the idea of like looking closer and giving someone a second listen, giving them a closer listen, dig in a little bit. There we had a couple of listeners that commented specifically on how that moved them. That comment, that little editorial moved them. And I thought, look at us moving the needle for good with our stupid little, with our silly little, our little efforts here.
Yeah.
And I think that all three of us would admit that we, as dads, community members, as professionals, I use the term very loosely, in my case, in our fields, people that love our careers and love our jobs, and I think we take pride in the way we do it. We want to move the needle in the good direction for our clients, for our patients, for the people we protect and serve, and people we educate. We want to make them better people and make them, get more meat off the bone in life. I think that's kind of one of the missions that we're trying to do is make people's experiences better. And it's fun having another little vehicle here that we can do for that. As we get into the feedback, we're going to learn that it's working. And then again, that's where the commercial again comes out, where and get the word out there and get more people to listen because it's doing some real good for folks. There's a father and son relationship I'll talk about in a little bit too that was kind of nurtured from one of our specific episodes. So the last one was the Shaun of the Dead. That's one movie that I kind of wrote off when it first came out because I didn't catch it the first time through, and then I saw little peripheral views of it, and I'm thinking, oh, it's absurd. I didn't know how clever it was, and so that was a turning point for me because there's a whole thousands of movies I've written off because I was a Johnny-come-lately. I didn't catch it the first time through, and I'll be damned if I'm going to watch it second time through because now you've been telling me to watch it.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I'm watching it because Tin Man told me to watch it. Or Voz has said it. Voz has seen it. He owns it. So, of course, I'm going to watch it. I'm like, that used to be something I'd push back against. But I'm like, no, I don't have to write off a movie because a certain audience liked it first. Or I didn't watch it right away. Why would I want to withhold joy from myself or perspective? Gain some perspective. And film can do that. And so I learned that with a silly movie like Shaun of the Dead. I enjoyed it more than almost any movie I've ever seen. And I've watched it several times since. And I'm like, this is great film. This is clever. It's witty. It's fast. It's fun. It's well acted. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just thought, okay, this opens up a lot for me moving forward. And if your life is a little more rich, how's that a bad thing?
Right.
So from my perspective, it's a little bit different because I was responsible for curating our episodes and the movies that we watched and trying to find things that don't alienate KMax or Tin Man while still challenging them and keeping them interested. So it was a fun journey to pick movies and topics that I knew they could have a lot to say, but then movies that either they haven't watched before, or movies that they I've seen parts of it, or it's on sometimes on TV, and so. Movies like The Florida Project, early in the podcast, that was like one of my favorite episodes because we get raw Tin Man before he was a Tin Man. Just,
I was turning tin.
These people are terrible, and Haley's the worst person ever. And
she's not the worst person ever, but she is awful.
You may have said she's the worst person ever.
I've met worse people, but she's still awful.
So, I'm just trying to like not be so biased and like moderating the conversation here.
I felt it made good conversation, though.
But by the end, though, it was
getting...
kind of like, you're like, oh, I guess I understand the movie a little bit better, I guess.
Yeah. No, I see where it was coming from, but I was still getting like direct emotional reaction from watching them do what they're. I was just like, none of these people are redeemable. Like
I came into
even
it,
Willem Dafoe, who's helping, is just enabling all this awful behavior. I was,
but I remember like looking at you smiling, and I was like, "What'd you think?"
Yeah.
To start out, you're like, "I did not like
this." I think those are my first words of the podcast too. Like, I did not like this movie.
But even though you didn't like it, it was like you had watched it twice.
Yeah.
And you were picking up on some things, and then as I was discussing the things, you're like, "Oh yeah, I can." You can see both of you relating. Like, "Oh, now that you point that out, it does support this idea." And as we discussed and fleshed it out, you're connecting things, and all of a sudden, it's a very cohesive, strong movie.
Yeah.
And then fatherhood, that was some of my favorite discussion that we had.
Oh yeah.
So that one's for me. It's it's a newer arena that I'm entered in. Well, my oldest is 7, but it's breaking through new ground here. Whereas the other 2 guys, they've been fathers for 2 or 3 times longer than I have. No, 3 or 4 times longer than I have. So it's
3 times. My oldest
3
is 21.
times.
My oldest
Yeah.
will be 21 this year. So.
Oh yeah, so 3 times as long as I have. So it was nice to have a conversation with like-minded fathers, and how something like that can relate to a movie podcast, and not that we take our values from movies, but the fatherhood aspect adds to our lens when we watch movies. So I like that we did what movies changed as we became fathers. We watch it when we're kids, and then we watch it when we're fathers, and things
the Little
change.
Mermaid, that's right.
Yeah, Little Mermaid.
That was one of my favorites. I was listening to that at the gym, just dying laughing.
And it made me realize how much I actually like The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Because there's a few chapters coming up in the future where I'm like, well, we could watch The Incredibles for that. But I know KMax had shared some feedback about a listener that they watched The Incredibles based on that little little skit there, and
based on our little part of our conversation.
Yeah, based
Really?
on especially Voz's the little Mr. Incredible, talking about some of the stresses and some of the realities, the harsh realities, and the mundane,
day in, day out. I'm doing
you
this for my family. Doing this for my family.
trying to find yourself, losing yourself, kind of as a I guess as a man, losing yourself a bit.
Yeah.
And regaining that, and it's kind of cool getting. These people too. When you get feedback from people it's interesting. It's great getting feedback from people you don't know also. But getting feedback from people and seeing it make some visceral change or open their eye in some way and enrich their life in some way, you're like, look at us go. And I'm like, and I love, because I had the chicken skin, I had the goosebumps when Voz was talking about Mr. Incredible and that, because it hit home.
Yeah.
And it was cool to have someone listen to it third hand. And it hit home still, and the message still worked and get home. And then they have since listened to all 24.
Really? Oh wow.
There's again, I can only count 7. There's definitely more. There's a lot of downloads, but 7 people I know that have listened to all 24. And to those 7 folks, man, can't thank you enough, man. Yeah, seriously, it's
so much.
It is rewarding. It is joy. It brings us a great deal of joy to get the feedback from folks, and we can get. There's cut and paste. I protect everybody's name, and I cut and paste the guys on all the feedback we get, and when we love it, and even when we disagree sometime about it, it's appreciated by all three of us, and it's inspiring. And it fuels us to be as good as we can on this, to be as honest as we can. And I think if we wanted to have a more pristine presentation, we'd probably be less honest and just more canned answers. But
Right.
that's not what this is.
Yeah, like right now we're in my sunroom. We got a folding table out, and the equipment's on top of that. Cups of coffee. Me and KMax are on a couch, and Tin Man's on a folding chair. You know, we don't have a studio. We're
One pair of pants among us.
and they're on the floor.
Tied to our ankles like a three-legged race.
But you said 7, and there's podcasts out there that get millions of views every day and all that. But we're just trying to do what we can do, I guess. We don't want to. We're not trying to be something that we're not. And if it grows, awesome. But we're here to be humble, positive influences, hopefully, on whoever's listening, and like I said, inspire conversation and broaden our minds a little bit.
I feel like that's kind of the challenge, like the personal call of all three of us, and just in life, is just try to be, I get all religious, salt and light in the most humble, authentic way possible. There's some people that can stand up and thump a book and get at it, right? And that's great, man. You need that. But I think sometimes a dark world, wherever you feel you can say politically or financially or wars and, whatever, culturally, no matter how good life is, it can always be a little bit better, a little bit brighter. And I feel like the reason why we're friends is because it's rare to find people that share that journey, that are trying to make, and I think that we do it maybe mainly for our kids. If I'm being honest, I try my hardest to make the world a little bit brighter and a little bit better, a little bit safer, a little bit more accessible, a little bit more, help people see the joy, almost like a life is beautiful, help the kids see that through my weird lens of appreciation and joy in my rose-colored glasses, because I want them to have the joy and find the joy. Sometimes it's in the boundaries. Sometimes it's in the sadness. And I want them to be able to see that, because I don't plan on living until 120. I'm not going to be here for their whole journey, I don't think. And that would be really a neat thing, a neat gift to give them, to help them to see the joy in the stuff that's not always joyful. You know what I mean? And in the process. And I think that's... I'm hoping that people can get that through these movies and the way we perceive these movies, and that's why, like, each of the episodes, I would think to myself, all right, I don't want to have a prepared answer or a canned answer or just a carbon copy, cookie cutter answer, but I want to make sure that I'm being honest and authentic here, because if there's any value to this podcast, as far as I'm concerned, that might be unique to any other podcast out there, it's that no one here is trying to be smart, sexy, or cool. We just are.
We just are.
It
just happened to be that way.
It's a state of being verb.
I know I'm not trying.
But like so many other podcasts and things, everybody wants to be right, cool, and on the edge. And the cool thing about this is that I don't think any of us could care less about being right, cool, or on the edge. We want to give you our perspective on these things. And one of the things that Voz does is that we're not burdened with, I don't think. No. We don't have to provide the structure for it. We're
right.
Giving honest feedback and bringing our honest feedback week after week.
Yeah.
And from the feedback I was getting from many people, they can hear that in our conversations.
Yeah.
And that's coming through crystal clear. And so much so that I was getting a little grief about, where you guys been? How long are you going to take off? And I was telling a couple of our listeners that we're back at it Friday.
Yeah.
And they're like, you better not fall asleep or something. You guys better record, because they know me. They know me. And oddly enough, I was a half hour late because I did fall asleep. Anyway, I'm glad, and we're thankful for you guys, man. That anybody wants us to be back, and we want to be back too. And
Yeah.
this is exciting. It's exciting.
But some more of my favorites are Mamma Mia. And my
Phone lines are lighting up.
I don't get too much feedback from the missus. Yeah, that's not really her thing. And but when I let her know that we're going to give Mamma Mia another shot here, she read what I had to say. Like I write a little rough draft and some notes, some talking points, and so she read a good portion of it, and she was appreciative that I circled back around to Mamma Mia because I know that was on my whatever list there
Your
is.
hit list? Your chopping block?
My list of enemies. My what's Arya Stark's list called?
What's that called?
Funny little list.
Oh, the names. What's it
Yeah.
called? The name lists.
I'm like, Mamma Mia, Love Actually. But it was because part of it is trying to challenge myself too. Trying to balance difficulties of three different people in terms of how you view a movie and how you break it down and keep conversation going. So Mamma Mia was definitely, I before we started to record, I could have swore it was going to be about a 15-minute podcast.
You guys all saw it too? Yeah. You guys agree? It sucked? Yeah, okay.
See you next week. And then as the season went on, I started to get a little bit more brave with putting post-production jokes in there.
Oh, that's great.
So
we got played off stage a couple times.
Yeah, I can't think of a few of them. Well, Mamma Mia, I think I played like inspirational music as I'm admitting, like, maybe we should pay attention if,
After further review what you've learned.
But
Hey, I'll try anything twice.
But
That motto's gotten me in more trouble than.
But my favorite joke was the playoff music because I wasn't sure it was going to get across, but I played it for KMax as soon as I published it, and he was dying laughing.
You played it for me and then played it for him faster.
We were talking about something, and then the other two guys are talking about like acting, and I was like, okay, it wasn't the subject around, but okay, I'm listening, and then you get into, well, I like when they play against character and against type. I was like, do you guys even know who the main actor was in this movie? Of Wolf of Snow Hollow? What else have you seen him in that he's against? Then, Jake Gyllenhaal's my favorite in Nightcrawler. I'm like, I'm flipping through my notes like, Nightcrawler?
It's how we perceived it, okay?
I was just absolutely
How we
dying.
experienced this movie.
And the bad thing about it was I'm like, yeah, James, you got played off. And then I tried to summarize it and bring it back on track, and I hear, screw you, Bob. It was definitely a high point. Or low point. Low point was when I ate my notes for the Christmas one.
That wasn't exaggerated either. We really had to fish it out of his gullet.
Man, oh man. I kept those. I still have
Left it
those
in the
somewhere.
upper decker in your bathroom, and
I
that.
still have them somewhere. Oh, there they are.
You still have them. And they are wrinkled and torn,
Looks like
weathered, quite weathered.
You get some digestive enzymes on them.
it looks like the key to Davy Jones, the map for the Davy Jones locker key.
And not much unlike my shorts. You can tell.
I feel bad. I took such a safe position in that, and then just held you guys all to the fire.
Everything's a Christmas movie,
Tropes and such. Sorry, I did not do as much preparation.
That was really good. Though.
Everything's a Christmas movie.
And I love what was born out of that initial. That's the cool thing about the way it's structured. Vaz. Some of the episodes are structured that way, where you have an overview and then you have specifics. That overview set up for, I thought, 2 or 3 of the best episodes of the season. I really loved the Children of Men episode. That's one of my favorite episodes.
That's one on mine too. Yeah.
I mean, I think that was on purpose. Again, I don't feel played. I feel like it worked good. Like Voz did that on purpose. Like he found something that is in our wheelhouse, all 3 of us.
Yeah.
The guns and stuff, and
Yep.
the constant positive, hopeful payoff for me, and then the deep, all the little messages and symbolism, and I'm like, dude, Safari Joe, you've done it again.
Tin Man, I know you went over Mother. Did you have other favorites?
So other than Children of Men, I was going to say Night of the Hunter. So that was a movie where
you really shined that episode.
Oh,
I had that sick voice that I could sound a little bit like
Season
Robert
1 will
Mitchum.
always be that.
Robert Mitchum, yeah.
Season 1 will always be your voice there.
I'm not even going to attempt it today because I feel fine. Sorry if I got you guys sick or your house is sick because of it, but I felt better. I just couldn't talk without sounding like this way or whatever it was.
So good.
But that was a movie where the black and white was used throughout it, casting light, putting people in this, the shadows for that, and it being at a time where colored movies were were the common. They stayed black and white and then used that in a place where a film that was not accepted in its time, where your villain was playing a twisted version of a reverend, of a pastor, and then a female being the hero, seemed like it was, at the time, was not, that was not how a movie was going to be made or accepted by the populace at that time. So it was kind of neat seeing all that put into place and how the characters acted around the children when they were the villain, and just the villain outright, where the knuckles had been tattooed. Like, oh, that's where that's from, because I've seen it a few other places. It's even done in a Spike Lee movie where he's got like brass knuckles or like rings, but it says love and hate on the brass knuckles, and even does the lines from the movie too. From a Simpsons episode, they had
that's right.
Sideshow Bob had them tattooed on his hands also. So there was so many like really cool things about that movie, that a 1950s movie, because when I grew up, I did not like watching anything old. It just felt like I just could not connect to older movies. Watching MASH now, I can kind of get the jokes, but like, when I was younger, I was not.
Same.
My parents would watch MASH and Cheers, and I was like, it was just not having it. But watching this movie and trying to pick that apart, I really enjoyed that. And then singing with singing with Robert Mitchum, trying to use his voice was kind of cool. So that was a movie that was a podcast that I enjoyed too.
There's a lot of things that like they happen at the right times. Like you just happen to get sick and sound exactly like Robert Mitchum for the exact time that we're reviewing.
Check this out. I can kind of like, whoa.
Because you guys had I wasn't here for pre-production that day, and I came in a little bit late, and then I could hear him, and I see Voz give him like the high sign, and he busted out into that voice, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
So that was Children of Men, that one, Night of the Hunter, Mother, and then Children of Men. And the one kind of point that I had brought to the table on that one was about when Julianne Moore was talking to him about the tinnitus in his ear, the ringing. Enjoy it, because you're never going to hear it again. As the camera's backing away, you had it in your notes, just didn't bring it up though. But I go, for whatever reason, this moment hits pretty hard in this movie for some reason, and the little bit of tools I had gathered from the leading up to this opened that door for me. And I was just like, oh, that's so cool. And that
was awesome.
That was one moment where I felt like, hey guys, I actually can score a point in this game. Like score a point. Throw me the ball, coach. Like throw me the ball. I can actually put a point on this one. So
yeah, you're like, hey guys, watch this. You like did like a hook shot from half court.
Yeah, yeah. And so that was the one time I was just like, hey, I think I have something. You're like, yeah, you do. I got it too. It's right here. I'm like, oh, sweet. So I'm not completely off the mark. I got someone else to back me up on it.
It's like getting one of the things right in Final Jeopardy. You're like, see, I knew I could get one of these.
Yep. So I had that felt good for me, at least for that moment for that in that movie. So Children of Men, Night of the Hunter, and Mother are probably my 3.
Is that great?
Nice.
Great. If we gave special. We talked a little bit more about Florida Project, but before we move away from it, and I know Voz probably has to get to his, but like one of my favorites was Florida Project because just simply no other reason other than the escape, the feel of just got to get to Disney World.
Yeah. Oh, the children being
I just gotta
being
get to
right
Disney.
there.
I gotta
Being
somehow.
right there.
I just
Yeah.
gotta somehow. It's all hitting the fan. I just gotta get there, and I'm not kidding you. Voz knows. He probably gets a text once a week from me about let's go. You know, and he just got one this past week. We were talking, and it's always right there. It's always right there. And that episode was it episode 4. It, more than all the lessons and even how amazing Willem Dafoe is and all this. That's one thing I take from that is the two kiddos running and just getting there. It's like,
Yeah, and it was like such a what was the main girl's name in that one? Mooney?
Mooney. Yep, Mooney.
Because she was dealing with all sorts of things throughout the whole movie, but it finally got to her, when she's going to be taken away from her mom, and it was like that point she was breaking down. Mm-hmm. Much in the same way we break down, at times with life and family and career and all that, and just get me to my happy place.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean it's an admission, I guess, and it's a vulnerability, but man, it's almost like I embrace it. It's like, I work really hard, so that's an option.
Right.
Yeah. Always. It's always a panic button. It's my eject
That's
button.
the escape, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, listen, Voz, it was like there's a standing offer. I got a whole network of Disney heads. Like, there's a standing offer. If anybody's going through something, it's in the budget. Let's go if we got it. It's in the budget. Let's go if we got it. So, I mean, that's something that a couple of listeners had actually brought up. I don't know if it was to criticize me, but they're saying, yeah, that sounds like definitely your escape button. I'm like, wear it like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys rewatched? I know you mentioned that you kind of rewatched some of the movies we discussed, but have you guys rewatched any of the movies, the movie episodes from season 1? Because there's a few movies episodes where I'm re-listening to them, and I know KMax, there's a few where you're like, I can't wait to rewatch this one like after our discussion.
Oh, okay. So the movie but listen to the pods. You're talking about watching the movies, right?
Right.
That we reviewed. Yeah, Hook. Hook is one I remember going back to because I think that I was taken back by the shock of I was in such awe of it when I watched it when I was a little bit younger, and then I was like a little bit campy musical watching it the second time. Mm-hmm. But that was before the pod, and then after the pod, I'm like, I missed a lot of what was being done here, so I watched it again, and I found that I enjoyed it more than the initial joy that I had watching it years ago. So it kind of like great, and then even better than great now. The next time, which is fun because you're armed with a perspective. And you got some tools.
Yeah.
We said that throughout the whole season. These are some tools, and you got them. And I'm like, well, it's not work because now I can enjoy this more. I can get more out of this.
Yeah.
Like the Dustin Hoffman, I never even understood the depth of Hook himself, the depth of his character, and even like his relationship with the son, and that dynamic, and how Peter had to fight him.
Yeah.
With the threat saying, but then I think about so many fears and insecurities as a parent. You better conquer it. If you just put a Band-Aid on it, it's going to come back and haunt your kids.
Right.
And I remember learning a lesson from that movie that day that I think is valuable in real life, being a father, really. Like, conquer that demon, conquer whatever that is. Otherwise, your kids are going to be left picking up the pieces, or could have to pick up the pieces.
And then learning that behavior themselves, too. As an adult.
Huge. I mean, that is an important lesson to learn. Yeah.
So I have a story about Hook. Since the episode, me, my wife, the kids were down at Tops. We're grocery shopping. And, they have all these sales every week. And some sort of Christmas cookie package on sale. So I look at it, my kids got their tiny little kid shopping cart, and we got ours, and I cited Hook. I didn't tell them what it was from. I was like, don't you dare try to stop me. Don't you dare try to stop me, as I'm like reaching for cookies, and I was like, stop me. Steph, get up off your A and stop me. I'm like, I'm committing suicide. And my kids are like, no, Dad. Whisk me away from the cookies. so for anyone that hasn't seen Hook, it's Hook's contemplating suicide. Yeah. And he's got the gun pointed at his head. And, Shmee's like, not again. So he stops Hook from killing himself.
Not again. I could see Josh Gad playing that role for Reprisal.
Oh, Shmee? Like Shmee's character? Yeah. That would be, that does fit in there a little bit.
Shout out to my friend Joe Butler. I just cut his hair the other day, and he listens to the pod. And he doesn't listen as much as I hope he would, because he loves film, and he's a very intelligent guy who just loves and consumes film. And he was talking a little bit about our takes on Hook, but he will be in our regular conversations. He's quoting movies all the time, and he brought up some of the dynamics of Mr. Shmee, of him, and some of the conversations. He was quoting some of those lines, and I told him, I said. And he pointed out also our poster. By the way, we have some advertising posters out there. We've got some propaganda out for the podcast at some local establishments. And he saw it while he was sitting in the barber chair. And he's like, oh, there it is. He goes, yeah, that's what I listened to. And I'm like, listen to all of them because there's gold there. I'm not like saying to boost our numbers or anything like that. It was just like, if you enjoy the conversation we have in the barber chair or in the barber shop about media, music, football. That's what we try to bring here about movies and about life. It's the same conversation. And it's cool about our 7 or 12, faithful listeners. That is the connection we have with those folks. And, that's why they're saying, when are you guys going to record again? When are you guys getting back in there? Man, I played in bands for decades that I haven't had that kind of, even 7 to 12 people saying, when's the next CD coming out? With that kind of vigor. Man, and thinking that is cool. That's super cool that anybody would, and this is how valued you guys are, that anybody would, forgot how we got Christmas gifts and cards. What I mean? And that is, to me, that is just
caramels.
Really, it's insane.
Caramels. We did all eat some of the caramels.
We did have caramels, and and I'm just saying, it's such a cool thing. And I think more than even getting our podcast name out there, I think just having more people being touched, if I could be a little corny, by some of the conversations, or challenged or encouraged by some of the conversations, is what we're in it for. And anyway, I just got myself turned around a little bit. I wanted to bring up Joe because he is the kind of listener that I really want to start bringing in more of, because he's so critical, and he sees films in a very Voz-like way, and not in a way that I would be. He has a lot of those tools only because he's such an enthusiast, and just a wonderful critical eye, and to have him quote a couple of our quotes from one of the pods and have him notice, hey, make the connection right away to the poster that was in the shop saying, I didn't know it was on Spotify. I thought it was on here. That's why I haven't been able to. And he's like, now that I know it's on, I got Spotify, I'm like, I got Spotify. It's free. It's all right there. It's all broken down. And it's got what movies are mentioned in that episode, and kind of some, Voz does a good job writing on there what's to look at. And the payoff isn't like, let's boost our numbers. The payoff is, this is fun. Come have some fun. Don't you like fun?
Well, KMax, why don't you move into the listener feedback then?
Yeah, I'll get into a little bit of that, because I thought it was again, it's like the power. It's like the power source of the thing. You know what I mean? It's the inspiration. A lot of people from work that are like regular listeners. By name, I give last names of all my idiot friends. They're wonderful. They're not idiots, but Nevins is. Everybody else is really cool. So like Nevins, Hart, Smith, Diane, my colleague from years and years and years. Sarah, Ben, a couple clients, Ben and Joe, a couple other clients that, ranging from places from New York City. There's a principal in New York City who has 4 staff members that listen. They haven't listened to all of them. They've listened to 5 now, 5 of the pods. But they have a group. They just kind of listen before or after school or when they're working out. And they put it on the sound system, not in their headphones, so they can kind of listen to it, And I think that's cool. Down in Charlotte, there's a pretty regular listener. Wilson has a lot. Oddly enough, Tuscarora doesn't have as many as I'd hope, and that's a little challenge. If we were running a telethon, I would say, all right, Tuscarora, where are you at? Actually, we have a good friend who runs a podcast down in the Charlotte area, and he's listened. He's almost caught up to all of them now, all of ours now. And fair is fair. I'm almost caught up with all of his too.
He's I think we can name drop that one, right?
Yeah.
Was that Real Talk with D?
Mm-hmm. Real Talk with D. Our buddy Daryl Salinas. He's terrific. He's very much. He's a Disney and Universal
Sounds
cast
familiar.
member. Yeah, he was a Disney and Universal cast member. Outstanding dancer. Just someone who's just very much into the arts.
And he was in a few movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I go easy on the Hallmark Christmas movies, because there's a few of them he's been in. And just a real, him and he just got married last year, and his wife, they're both very much film enthusiasts, and they do Real Talk with D, and they do a nice job of it, and he's a listener and a supporter, and as a community, I can, and again, I'll be honest about this. In a community, I was talking with my cousin Wade, who does documentaries and film. He's in film. And we were talking a little bit about the hesitancy sometimes for locals to wrap their head around or get invested in something, an artistic investment of someone that they know of personally. Because they're thinking, well, you're just Chris. Yes, I am just Chris. But well, what do I want to listen to your opinions on film movies? And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Why would you? But the vehicle is bigger than just me talking into a microphone. It's it's a mechanism for joy and to add to your life, to maybe give you a sounding board or make you not feel so alone in a conversation sometime. Maybe just turn it on for background music while you're doing the dishes. If you're someone that lives alone, maybe. And someone that's very familiar with you might miss out on that because it's like, oh, that's Voz and that's James and Chris. That's what I mean. That's these guys. And yes, it is, but I think the message and the purpose is bigger than just your neighbor or your buddy or your cousin or your brother. So it wouldn't be bad if brothers and cousins and neighbors and friends listened a little bit more, because I think. Not being arrogant, but there's more to it than just, oh yeah, that's the guy from down the road just talking about movies.
Right.
We do put a lot of work into it. Pages of notes and clips and hours out of our busy lives to put something out there that people can benefit from or even just laugh at and enjoy. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes that's fun too. I like to. That's why I listen over and over again when I'm driving, and especially this time with the Bills being eliminated.
Yeah.
I find myself listening to pods again rather than sports radio. It's like, I get more joy out of it.
The sports radio, I can't. It's just guys complaining about everything at this point and criticizing every little, we're not firing McDermott. Just move on. So the last, since Sunday, that's what I've been doing also, is just push play on depth perception and let it ride.
Oh yeah, I'll get more to some specifics here. There was one. There was a lot of the very first episode influence. There was a lot of direct feedback from several folks, just on how refreshing it was to have the perspective of just 3 normal dudes. The term "normal dudes," I'm like, you don't know us very well.
We're super dudes.
How many people who watched Godzilla -1 just based off of our pod that would have never ventured into even the monster movie type genre? Didn't think I would be someone who would be into this kind of movie, and now it's all I can watch. The yummy payoff was one of my idiot friends said, "This is not the episode I thought it was going to be." But others related to the term, saying this is a neat way of saying that we all have different things that we look for in movies, different things that bring us joy, different things that give us our payoff. And I'm like, yeah, that's the yummy payoff there. Florida Project, there were passionate viewpoints on there, like the harsh criticism of mom in there was noted. And then also they appreciated Voz's catching of our harsh criticism of the mom in there and just kind of setting us back on track a little bit. And then also the revisiting of it. They appreciated the fact that the podcast actually was a callback to that and saying, well, let's criticize dads now. Let's look at them a little critically. And there was an appreciation for that in the feedback, which is kind of cool. I'll keep going down the line here a little bit. The childhood one, there was feedback on some of the titles that we had, the dynamic of why we picked specifically Tin Man, Voz, and KMax, why we picked the ones that we did, and they had questions about why we picked the ones that we did, and they actually asked if we on this, because I told some of our listeners what we were going to be doing today with the preview, and they said maybe have an episode where you guys expand a little bit on your selections. She said not maybe this episode, but at some point if you can maybe even dedicate one to just going back and taking the listener feedback and addressing some of those questions about why did you pick that, or why did Tin Man said this about that film. There was one thought. I thought he would have liked this. It seems right up his wheelhouse. I think it was
Mamma Mia.
I think it was. It definitely wasn't Mamma Mia. Who said that? And so on and so forth. E.T. was a touching one. It's funny, in the childhood one, we had 3 people who texted me saying, "You missed one. You missed one. You missed one." And then the next one came out, and they're like, "You didn't miss one."
Yeah.
E.T.'s right there.
Yeah, yep.
And they realized that somehow that's how the show will be. You'll have like the founder of the feast be a feature movie that's actually taken. That's why we don't discuss it.
Yeah.
Right. And so fatherhood was good. A lot of dads related to that one. There's 3 dads that I work with that hit home with, and they all related to the Mr. Incredible. And that scene was, we talked about that a little bit. Train to Busan, Hook. The religion one was a really good one. Many of my friends, you wouldn't think so, but like are if I can say non-believers, but they don't have the similar faith, the same belief system I do. But we love each other. We respect each other. We've been family for 25 years, so we're stuck with each other. And it was neat to hear. They said we can hear your passion, all 3 of you guys, your passion for what you believe. It's neat to see how it permeates your conversation, but without being judgy or preachy. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I don't think I try to ever hide it that I'm a little judgy and a little preachy. I don't think I ever try to hide it, but I never want to beat anybody up. And I never want to make anybody feel less. I want everybody to feel more for them, about themselves and about what their hope is and things like that. And it's nice to see that even though, we wear our faith kind of on our sleeve, all 3 of us, that they still feel like they can access it. And these are some folks that are intellects, like college professor folks, that sometimes get turned off a ton more by faith people than anything. They're like, yeah, you guys, this is clearly something you, but it's not like an indictment on us. It's like, no, it almost it lets them take a peek at what real faith can be.
Right.
It's like, yeah, we're people.
And I think it was important that we had that episode 10 episodes in or whatever it was, where people could learn who we were before that. And kind of warm up to listening what we got to say. And then do the religion episode where it's like, oh no, now it just feels like conversation. It doesn't feel like they're trying to push anything.
That's right. Diane, one of the most intellectual, smart people I know, and I call her by name because I have so much respect for her. She was my mentor. She retired teacher, probably still maybe the smartest person I know. She said, when it got through from another coworker to her that we were going to be talking about mother, she was like, "Oh, good. I don't know anybody else that I can talk to. I've watched this years ago, and I've been dying to hear I want to talk to anybody about it. And the payoff she got from listening to it was, she loved listening to the conversation about it because it either confirmed many things that she thought about it,
Yeah.
or or she had some real problems with some of the insights that we had. But she said all of it was, by the end of it, we had all worked out and got to a place where she was with it.
Okay.
And she couldn't be more like agnostic. And she found us all fighting for the same side, like saying, we're disgusted by the tradition and some of the pageantry that goes on inside the church from this side of the line.
Yeah.
She's disgusted at organized religion because of those same things. And that woman gained perspective on our experience, saying, I didn't realize how pissed off you guys were at the same things.
Really?
And
I didn't know this. Like, I didn't.
And her big thing was like, I'm so, and again, I'm not using this as like my primary witnessing tool to bring people to Christ, but also
Have you seen this movie?
I always say if I can always point people that direction, that's my life's in a good place. And for her to see that again, born again crazy Bible folks like myself are disgusted with those traditions and those things like that, and the pageantry and the plate passing and all that, made her closer to saying, I'm curious about the rest of this now.
Sometimes I wonder, though, too, so it's a little off the topic, just a hair, but sometimes I wonder that being on a reservation where there are more longhouse and more traditional folks that, like, will hold your feet to the fire, like, so your hypocrisy or the pageantry and all that stuff, like, kind of gets cut off, kind of gets whittled away. If you move off the res to where it's a little more accepting, the waspy culture, like, it can breed.
I see what you mean.
Where you're enclosed in that culture, where it can get, where it's the Reverend Lovejoys and the like that type of culture can isolate itself. Where I feel like on a reservation, like, you're gonna get called out if you're just a total hypocrite, and people can see it's a small community. Everyone knows everyone. Yeah. That you can't be a dirtbag Christian without being called out for it right away. And I kind of feel like a lot of that, the fat is trimmed off for our understanding of it being there.
It's like a smelting process.
Yes. And I feel like like this movie, it shows where we're like, no, we're really upfront about what we don't like about the hypocrisy or pageantry or legalism that gets involved. And I feel like growing up where we are, it's a lot easier to notice it because there's people ready to call it out right there. Oh, yeah. Right down the road. Right across the road, right down the street. They're ready to call it out because, we're all living so close to each other. Yeah. So I think that was kind of neat that she pointed that we ended up on the same side, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that she had that, because I don't know anyone else who saw the movie. I have one other person. I think it was Tiff.
Well, I started off the episode. I'm like, I've waited 7 years to watch this movie with other people so I could talk about it.
He started this whole podcast just to watch this movie with us.
Yeah. I remember him saying that. He goes, well, low key, guys, I started this whole thing so that we could watch this movie together.
They'll have no choice but to watch it now.
Got them tracked with Godzilla. Let's see if they can handle this one.
So the feedback, wonderful. And that, again, someone that I just respect a ton, and it was like just the gold standard of how to teach and how to work with kids and how to be diagnostic in your instruction. Just all the perfect things of what a teacher should be, she embodied, and even some things about people, like how she cares for people, like she gives to different things, and structurally finds ways to help illiterate pockets of humanity become more literate, knowing that that's like a key to success and in thriving in life is being literate. She's still doing that, been retired for a decade, and still is the biggest advocate for kids and literacy. And it's like, to have a compliment like that come from a person like that was some of my favorite feedback that we've gotten. There was some really cool ones about Night of the Hunter. Some of the older folks that listen. Again, I get real careful with this, calling anybody an older folk, but there's a couple older folks that listen, and they felt really cool that we would include films that weren't in our lifetime.
Yeah,
going back and watching it, saying,
Yeah, I
I
think
think it was
55.
1955.
Yeah,
that
and they're
one
like,
came out,
and they're
yeah.
saying, well, you're the old timer of this group. I'm like, well, thanks, first of all. North of 50, I guess that's an old timer or whatever. But like saying, but to have these two young guys looking at this movie and thinking so critically and not just laughing at it and not just, even though there are parts that we're people and we're horses patoots sometimes and we love to laugh at nonsense.
Yeah.
They were appreciative of the fact that we were taking it, looking at films that were a little older sometimes. Some films are out of our wheelhouse, which was some feedback there. And then also like honoring it, finding why these were good movies. And even sometimes saying, someone said, pointing out that sometimes less is more in production. And you can see the contrast a little bit better. And you can see the conflict a little bit clearer. That way, I'll go quickly with a couple more. Horror's versatility. There was a lot of feedback on that. Like everything is not horror. Everything I got from like 8 people.
It's all horror, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're like we appreciate it, we get it, but nope. And I'm like, well, thank you for your feedback. And, well, that's nice of you to think. And then they listened.
Thank you for being wrong.
They
but
listened
not
to a
true.
couple of they listened to a couple of the other episodes after that, and they walked back off it a little.
Oh,
bit.
is it really?
With the exception of probably our number one listener with the most feedback.
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
like, no. I'm sorry. Nope, I'm sorry. Sometimes it's just wrong. And it's so different from her personality, but she's like, this is the hill I will die on. And like, oh, it's funny because like Skinamarink, and that was the divining rod there. That was the one where people, and I was almost like, you seen how close I was.
Oh my gosh.
To being like,
Done.
done.
Yeah.
Just done. I'm not going to watch something that makes me want to throw up. Not from being gross, just like I'm watching it and I know what it's trying to do here. I said, I get what you're trying to do. I
Yeah.
just don't want to feel this way.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel unsettled, uncomfortable. It's like I know you're trying to lure me into a false sense of security, and I'm keeping the wall up. And it was like
yes.
the fight to keep the wall up throughout this whole movie.
So I get when people say the scariest movie ever, whatever, because I'm like, it's scary that it manipulates you so much.
Nice.
But like the little things that were like without having the music going, ba-da, it's just like whoa,
Yeah.
So I mean, there was some feedback there. Alien had some feedback, some strong feedback, and I think that is a pretty good time too to say that how much we appreciate the feedback because it might not be something that was ever intended. We might have a laugh because if you've ever listened to this podcast for 1 minute,
We're idiots.
we do love to laugh. We will laugh.
Nobody has accused us of being geniuses.
No, and also too like
Just us three.
Just
Yeah, that's right. It's like it was cool. It's like you get feedback from places that are like supportive and they want to see the pod take off and continue to grow because they're full invested. So it's funny like how it's kind of was moving how kind and how considerate our listeners are toward us three as humans, as people, and as dads and family men and professionals.
Right.
Like looking out, saying, this is what you guys bring to the table and what you guys have brought all season long and probably for 30, 40, 50 years. And the fear of, something being taken out of context. And I get that. And I appreciate that so much, And I always stand by, like what Tin Man said, like we stand by it because this is who we are. And if you know us, you don't even have to vet us. It's harmless if there's ever laughter at an inappropriate time. You should see us in church sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like funerals or whatever. We just did the most inappropriate times. But I get to like the protection of if it's the wrong person or the wrong Karen or the wrong, I don't know what the male equivalent would be to Karen, heard it and was on a mission against, someone in public health
Kevin.
or someone with police force or someone in public school teaching. Say, and they laughed at the idea of this, and I get and I can see that, right? So that feedback's very much appreciated. I think all three of us would contend, and the listeners, the three listeners that have reached out to us, they would even contend that knowing us, they understand the context well. It was just a matter of if the wrong person hears this in the wrong time and they go on some kind of crusade, you don't want. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, And so, do I stand by every bit of it? Yeah, that's everything that I've ever said. And there's things a lot of things I say get on the cutting room floor, thankfully. But like, I still stand by it because it's my perception. It's all my perception. It's all my perspective. And, it's like if I'm tailoring the message myself, it's going to sound a little different. If you tailor the message yourself, it's going to sound a little different. Voz tells,
and especially that subject matter.
Oh, yeah.
Coming from our lenses, we like to joke a lot. We have a good time talking with each other. That subject matter is very difficult to fully explore and not be ourselves, I guess.
That's right. That's right.
I did listen to that one back after hearing that there possibly is issue with it. And I think we gave it the due respect needed for certain points, and then joked, being silly guys.
Yeah.
But the points that we were trying to make and tell that few people got that part of that movie, that there is like forceful rape and control and whatnot that was added to this movie, but it's on a layer that you might not get, that most people might not get. And I felt that just even bringing that out and telling people like what part of this movie, what Alien has to offer on a lower level or on a deeper level, I don't want to say lower, on a deeper level, that it was the due respect needed for the writers, the directors, the storytellers, for us to give it out there. If we're going to joke also on the side of it, so be it. But But I thought we gave it its due respect and its due brevity, you know. So I don't know if they, it is what it is. We are who we are.
But I find 4 or 5 other things in the pod on different episodes more like, yikes! I wish I didn't do that. Because I'll laugh at anything. Anybody knows I will, and I pick on myself more than anybody, right? And I'm maybe the first one to tell you, like, when someone picks on me for being, you're Johnny Christian, I'm like, yeah, but I'm not even good at it. You know what I mean? Like, I pick on myself a lot about things. So there's things that I laugh like right after, like I'll get like a point, I'll say something about like faith, whatever, and then in the very next breath I'm laughing at a dick joke or whatever because I am a child, and anybody that knows me, I enjoy a good joke. I love to laugh, and so there was a real good communication. I felt like that was a nice moment with some of our listeners because feedback that comes from a place of care and just of kindness is never bad feedback. And honest feedback, even if it's critical, is never bad feedback too. That's nice. And so open up the door for some more there. Upon further review there was great feedback there. They loved, like the idea of Mamma Mia and Babe.
Yeah. Yep.
Babe, I won't give a specific name because it's very, very intimate. There were the father and son, and it was a wonderful, wonderful moment. The dad has his memory care, and when they're listening to the pod, the son was listening to the pod with dad listening to it, kind of passively, and dad sharpened up to a level he hasn't in months, listening to them, to us idiots talk about Babe.
Oh, wow.
And the characters and things. And then they set up almost like a father-son date to watch it again, because they used to watch it when it first came out years ago. Huh. And then not being like me, a big bundle of emotion, these two men who are not that had an emotional moment that who knows if they would ever have it for the rest of their experience. And that's something they'll have. And I'm thinking our silly little hour and a half or 2 hours a week brought that joy to these people and brought that closeness. That's moving. That is powerful. That is wonderful. And I remember thinking, I want to know more about that, but I don't want to pry because that's a very personal moment for them. And but boy, would I love to almost have that guy on and have him talk about that experience.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But it is a very personal thing, a very personal moment, and that's why I'll leave them nameless. Upon further review in Mamma Mia, the amount of feedback on that and like, see, we told you, and like just jokingly, the lighthearted stuff, like, and loving the music. The dramatic music was perfectly placed because 3 people mentioned the music upon the epiphany of the three guys saying, "Oh, turnabout is fair play," type of a thing. It's just as simple as that. You got the boys in the Speedos and the girls sitting there with their conservative thing looking and just taking it all in, and just all that stuff. And then the Christmas movie,
gimme, right?
Right. And then the Christmas ones, there was a lot of great feedback on the Christmas one. Some people were overjoyed at the fact that we seemed to shift roles, Tin Man and I. I thought it was hilarious that there was a role reversal. And then some were like, it seemed like you guys were a little too heavy for this. I'm like, well, yeah. And then when they heard how we were setting them up for the next 3 episodes, they're like, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It makes sense now. And then when they heard Voz's, he has a real good way of, I think Hart said it at one point, has a real good way of resetting the conversation, because sometimes you can listen to it, it sounds very organic conversation.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't feel the structure until there's a reset. So I think it's important that...
the bumpers are up on the bowling alley.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Corey.
Yes.
Thank you, Voz, for putting the bumpers up.
I know. And so, so then Children of Men, Fat Man, and White Christmas, those all had very similar responses, positive, very strong positive responses, because now they know who we are.
Yeah.
They know what to expect. And now I think we're firing in all 8 cylinders at that point, because we have 3 movies that we each picked.
Mm-hmm.
And we each kind of had to, even the fact that we introduced them in to do the introductions, that was something that people thought was hilarious, because they said you can hear the personality of all 3 of us the way that those 3 weeks in a row, if you listen to the beginnings. Someone said if you listen to all 3, play them, if you can put them side by side with each other, they sound like a totally different show. All 3 of them.
I think we'll be doing that again. Is it this season?
I think it's the 3rd.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty in-depth personal chapters of each of us coming up in the 3rd season. So stay tuned for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the summary of not all the feedback, but that's the highlights of the feedback we got this season.
That's good.
Now you had mentioned there's one from the upon further review. There was because I know that one I kind of gave a little spiel in the beginning.
Well, yeah, it was a huge one about a compliment in comments about the during the election cycle. I think it was either right before or right after. It was right in the thick of the
right in November
election.
there.
Yeah, and the idea that just kind of sometimes you'll get on there and do almost like a rest of the story type thing, a little editorial before we jump in. And it was appreciated by a couple folks that don't follow the pod, but I gave it to them to listen to. And they listened to that particular podcast, but they listened to the intro, and the one lady was quite moved by it, saying you need less billboards and less talking heads on TV and more real people just saying we can understand each other. We're allowed to learn about each other, and we're allowed to shift how we feel about each other upon learning from each other better. And I'm like, you get it. Yes. Now keep listening and buy the T-shirts. What T-shirts? They're coming. But no, man, keep the feedback coming, guys. It's fuel. It's wonderful. I promise to be better on the Instagram page. I've been saying that for months, but who knows? Maybe life will calm down a little bit.
Yep, it's very much appreciated. You should see the text between me and KMax. Any feedback? Podcast came out an hour ago, Vozly. So, I know most of our feedback we kind of live through KMax. From what little feedback I hear personally, I know our religion episode was well received. And I know our Halloween episodes were well received as well. Tin Man, did you have anyone?
Nope.
Yep, that's about how it goes. Well, like you mentioned before, people in our own community, I don't know if we kind of like, oh yeah, well we grew up with them. We know that's Jimmy's kid.
Yeah,
You know?
I don't know. I got like two or three friends that were like, oh, okay, we'll give it a listen, and they haven't listened to it. But I'm not pushy with it either, though. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I feel weird. I have a hard time even going back and listening to our old episodes. I don't like the way I sound. I don't like. I'm like, I'm glad you guys like it. I'm here for this, and then I'll go back occasionally and listen to it. I don't like the way I sound or anything.
No, you sound good.
It's hard for me to ask people to listen to it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like there's a lot of me on the show that I don't know if I feel completely comfortable just letting everybody.
I understand that. Yeah, I definitely understand.
Because there's people that like I work with, and I'm in a certain position at work. I don't know. I have no problem with. Yeah, go ahead, listen to it. Here's what we got. But I'll ask them once, and that's about it. That's as far as I go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do some
My wife,
poster making and all that.
My
to
wife,
get
on
it
the
out
other
there.
hand, I've been like, just listen to this one.
Right.
This is a good funny part right here. Go to this part. She's like, I'll be on a plane next week. I'll listen to an episode then. All right.
Did she?
No. But she'll be on a plane next week too. So we'll see if I can push it then.
Don't let her back in the house until she can.
You deleted all my apps. That's the only one I have. Spotify.
All right. Before we go into a season 2 preview, we kind of talked a little bit about this before, but the personal takeaways and benefits that we each had from season 1, and I'll go first this time actually. So part of it was I get joy from spreading knowledge and sharing my own insight on things, and this relates to like our Disney stuff as well. So, if I went to a nice restaurant, I'd tell KMax, oh, you got to try this.
Oh,
right here.
yeah.
So kind of the same thing with the movies is, and you can see all over the place. I watched Mother, and I waited 7 years to find the right people to rewatch it with. So it's been a lot of
He's
fun
still looking for them, by the way.
fun and fulfillment from me getting to see other people unlock lenses and unlock ways of thinking about movies. And because right from the start when we talk about influence, Tin Man's, I don't like horror movies, and KMax says, I'm very on the surface. Give me entertainment and make me happy, and we've watched quite a few movies that do not make us happy and maybe not even entertain us. And I know Tin Man mentioned like the journey and the plot, and we've gone through a few movies. I mentioned it before where nope, this is just going to be 90 minutes of allegorical storytelling, and that turns out to be one of the better episodes from him. And,
Yeah. Yep.
so it's been a lot of pride, I guess, being able to have these conversations and to have them so peacefully and respectfully debate certain things and be able to freely talk about how things made you feel rather than, you bring something up and say, oh yeah, wuss, whatever.
That's dumb.
Yeah. That's something that gets to me, and I know I put it out there in one of the episodes too, and it might have been Mother, but it was like, I hate hearing people just say like, well, that movie's dumb, or, just a quick dismissal of hundreds and thousands of people's work, and their vision for a film and an idea. And, I had likened it to going to like an art museum, and you can look at a painting and you can say, interesting, but not for me. And you can move on, or you can sit there and look at it for hours and see little things and see different brush strokes or different colors or how the different styles that they use, and you can break it down from there. So I likened it to that, where if something doesn't catch your fancy, you don't have to say anything. You can just move on to the next painting that you do like. So it's that's one thing that I'm glad that I'm able to share as well. Not such a acute vision on, well, I like this type of movie, so that's all I'm going to watch, or that I hate this type of movie, so I'm not even going to push play. I'm going to get out of here. So it's been a quest to promote constructive debate and learning, not just from movies, but in everyday conversation, and you even driving into work, someone cuts you off, and immediate reaction is anger, but it's like, don't know what that person's going through, but hopefully they get over it soon, and being able to kind of work through stressful situations or thoughts just because we're practicing it every week on the podcast. So that's my personal benefit from doing this from season 1 here. Do you guys got anything like that?
Yeah, I was going to add the skills that were added in recognizing in films. So, because I can do it not as well, but there is a little bit of every time I watch a movie where I go, ooh, that connects to that, or like, ooh, this guy's role in this thing has a theme behind it, and I'm kind of getting an idea of what it means. Like, just without thinking, without like trying to analyze it, I can watch a movie and I'm getting a little hint of what's behind the scenes or what's pulling the characters that I might not have before. So it's kind of neat having that now.
Nice.
And then when I notice it, I won't not notice it the further I watch it. As soon as that little, exclamation mark goes off in my head, then I'm like, oh, now I'm looking for it now. Now I'm like, ooh, there's something to this. There's something deeper. There's some like, maybe it's not so hidden theme that's starting to reveal itself, and now I'm looking for it. So it's kind of neat having that. Like seeing a movie that I might not have had so much appreciation for, having a little extra now because there's another layer that I noticed peeled back a little bit. Oh, cool. So now I feel like I'm appreciating movies more, and seeing that there is more to it than just the light and sound hitting me in the face. What else? What else is there behind it? What the director, the writers, the actors have that's behind the scene that they're trying to pull through too. So that'd be something I got. So that was something that I learned out of this first season. Yeah, that's it.
I'll tell you a joke. Duran, Bob Dylan, and banana cream pie walk into a bar. And right now you're thinking, what's the punchline? Well, that's just it right there. The three things have in common is Duran was this huge band when I was in high school, and I hated them. I hated them. Couldn't stand them. Just hated them. Just thought, oh, they're so freaking corny. They're so... Okay, we get it. You're British. Okay, great. Good for you. Yeah. I don't understand it. The cool kids in school were listening to them. Not my cool kids, but the other cool kids were listening to them and loving them. Bob Dylan, this big icon, this cultural icon, you played at the reservation, and hey boo, yeah, hey boo, yeah, woo. I didn't get it. Keep it. It's not my thing. Banana cream pie, gross. Bananas, okay. Cream pie. Just give me apple pie.
Whoa, I wasn't sure where we're going with that.
Give me all these things. And what all three of those things have in common? Well, they're three of my favorites right now.
Ooh.
And they wouldn't have been, though, had I not stuck it out a little bit, and had I not found out a little bit more about them, had I not saw them differently or tasted them differently. Duran Duran is I hear them. I've heard them live a couple times in concert, and it's just I have the best time because I feel like I'm recapturing, those high school years and enjoying it. I'm like, I know what you mean now. Jamming to their music, and then they're like hurting songs. I'm like, cool, and I'm doing music face and I'm hollering.
Music face.
Yeah, and I'm hungry like the wolf, singing the song, laughing with my buddies, and I'm like. And if it was my buddies from high school, I'd be like, "You liar, you hypocrite! You're not." But I like it now, and what it's done is enriched my life. I have my joy. I go to concerts, I laugh. I feel like a little kid. I dance. I literally dance at their concerts, like a big, crazy dancing thing, and that's joyfulness, and that's something I would have been void of had I not gained a little bit more perspective about the band. Same thing with Bob Dylan, man. Not just the movie, but like listening to and actually gaining, like same thing with like Jim Croce and some of those like Steely Dan bands that like my dad would have appreciated, but that I listened to on the AM radio while I was in bed as a kid. You know what I mean? Like in the crib next to, hearing that flip radio, the alarm go off, and hearing a Jim Croce song or a Bob Dylan song, and like that whole post-Vietnam era song, freedom rock stuff. I'm like, I hated it. For like I don't know why it reminded me of our poverty or our youth or something, or it just always made me feel depressed. And then like now that I'm older, I'm like that is like my favorite stuff. It's like I gravitate toward it because I see now what it meant to my dad. How that helped my dad deal with life and how it helped him get through, and I can see it from his perspective a little bit differently now. And now I just freaking love this stuff. And banana cream pie is my favorite dessert. By far now.
Really?
And I just love it. I absolutely love a homemade banana cream pie. And anybody that knew me before I was 40, would have said, never. What are you talking? Why do I say all three of these things? Because it's just a matter of the lessons I've learned over one season of this podcast there are entire genre of film, language of film, era of film, that are now in my acceptable, what I think could be great. Now I can consume it and decide now. Before I would have not even had the tools to say, even try Night of the Hunter. Or try Letting My Guard Down and try Mother.
Right.
Or try, or see Children of Men as a Christmas freaking movie.
Yeah.
Which I thought was the best of the three of our Christmas movies,
right.
including White Christmas. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, these are tools that I have that I didn't have in season one. And so the joke of Duran Duran, Bob Dylan, and Banana Cream Pie walk into a bar, the punchline is this: who would have thought that I'd be sitting at the bar with them three? You know what I mean? Like that right now, I can now and enjoy their company because I have the tools to understand them better. That's how I feel about films now. You know what I mean? So
awesome.
That's kind of my little picture that I drew for answering this question here.
Nice.
I was going to draw banana cream pie. Oh, it was carrot cake, too. I said it could be carrot cake if I wanted to go that way. I wanted to go banana cream pie, though.
All right.
I thought you were setting us up for, is it Karnak?
Oh, where...
That's why I ripped up the envelope.
I get it now. That is so brilliant. Nevins, you will love that. You will be if there's one person that gets it, Nevins, that one's for you right there. And God bless Bear and Joy for raising Corey right. Karnak. That might even been your grandma Kara or someone.
Yeah, you set it up perfectly. You're like Duran Duran, like you held it up to your forehead. Duran Duran.
Bob Dylan,
banana cream pie,
banana cream pie, and here we go.
And I didn't make the connection.
I didn't make the connection until just now.
You're like, very good, Vozly. Good sound effect. Anyway, my joke.
Not as quick as I once was.
All right. So hopefully we inspired some of the same types of movements with our listeners. Because, like I said, I think the world would be a better place if more people could see things from other points of view. And I know we offer quite a bit of different point of view during our conversations. So kind of semi-wrapping up here, I'm going to quickly preview Season 2, because I want to give people kind of a heads up as to the movies that we're going to be watching this season, so that if they come across them and they want to get a viewing of it early, so that they're not scrambling trying to find out where it is or how it could get it, and maybe they can, if they want, order a copy online first or something, so that they have it for when we do it on the podcast. So season 2, today obviously the preview. The next episode is going to be a movie called Hell or High Water. And I picked this one based because it kind of previews almost every topic that we're going to talk about this season. And as I go through them, you'll kind of see, and you'll see even more if you watch the movie with us. So our next chapter would be Class and Poverty. And the movies I list for right now, that's what I'm planning. Something could come up where we find a better movie that fits it or a more interesting one. But for right now, this is the list that we're going with. So Class and Poverty, we have I believe it won the Oscar for Best Picture a few years ago, 2019.
Oh,
Parasite?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it won.
Yes.
So we're going to dive into that one. That should be a deep conversation, I think. There's a lot of stuff going on.
That is one I haven't seen.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
I have not seen Parasite yet.
And we're reaching into a little bit of film class here, but we're going to watch Bicycle Thief. That one is 1948, I think.
Okay. Is that still Class and Poverty?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we're going to the next chapter after that is ethical questions. So movies that are asking you tough ethical questions. And right now, another old movie. We have I think it's German, M by Fritz Lang. And one that very personal for all three of us, indigenous representation in movies.
Ooh, oh, interesting.
Yep. So I know we'll talk about good representation, bad representation, and important representation. Thunderheart from 1992, I believe, Val Kilmer. We have Avatar. That's right, Avatar. And new, I don't know if it came out this year or if it was late last year. Also Oscar nominated for documentary, I believe, but Sugarcane. And we move from indigenous to Western versatility. We had horror's versatility, now we got Western's versatility. Talk about just how much Western tropes exist in movies and how interchangeable they are, like how horror could go with other genres, horror comedy and horror Western. So Western kind of has the same flexibility, and we'll make sure we talk about that during that episode. But the movies associated with that one are going to be Dead Man, 1995, Johnny Depp, and a crazy all-star cast. If you look up that movie and look up the actors in it, I mean, everyone's recognizable in that one. And then I believe this is going to be the first Tarantino movie that we put in here, but The Hateful Eight should be, that one's going to be a very violent watch. So
that one I have seen.
That one.
I have seen that one. That was a good one.
And one thing I wanted to make sure I focused on, last season I feel like we had a good flow from episode to episode of relating themes, and if they weren't themes, there are other connecting things that episodes seem to fit with the next season or the next episode or the next movie. So from Western we go into Justice, and another fairly recent movie, but Promising Young Woman.
Yep.
So that'll be a good one. I haven't seen it yet, but I know the subject matter.
One of the few movies that I have seen that you haven't.
Yeah, how about that? Chinatown almost made that, but I wanted to kind of mix it up a little bit. So from Justice, we go into Vengeance. And another, it's going to be a rough watch, Nocturnal Animals. Jake Gyllenhaal,
Yep.
Amy Adams. It's very visceral, but all-encompassing, I feel like, when it comes to the idea of vengeance. Even, I mean, I won't go too much into it. But from vengeance, we got the opposite. Hateful Eight, Promising Young Woman, Nocturnal Animals, pretty probably tough watches in terms of violence and subject matter. So we go into the chapter after that is forgiveness.
Oh.
As in, we forgive Vozly for putting us through those 3 movies back to back to back.
Remember Voz.
That's right. Coco is the movie for forgiveness.
I know those two have seen it. I haven't not seen Coco yet.
Oh, I want to watch it with you.
And
That sounded creepy. It wasn't supposed to.
It's running on fumes over there.
And we're going to be off on the timing of this, but I also wanted to keep the flow intact. So we're going to have Happy Mother's Day. Hopefully not. I mean, it's probably going to be like a month late from when it actually. It'll probably come out on Father's Day. It's funny. And for right now, the movie we're going to watch for that is Dumbo.
Beauty.
Yep, the 1941. So a handful of older movies this season. But I've noticed, I try to include different decades, and there's a lot of movies from like the 2010s that I'm trying to spread apart a little bit because a lot of the movies from that decade tend to fit in pretty well with a lot of the topics. But our last chapter for season 2 is a doozy, and hopefully we don't see any divorces after this, but it's marriage in movies. And to make things even worse, the movie we're watching for that is Enemy. Another Jake Gyllenhaal movie. How about
Jake
that?
Gyllenhaal, yeah.
But maybe not the most uplifting view on marriage and commitment, but I would say probably a good final exam, we'll say, for, you guys talked about using tools and going deeper into things. Enemy is one of those movies where you need to use all of your tools and you need to find out what the filmmaker is trying to say in order to really grasp the movie.
You'll need the key to unlock the story.
The key is in the coffee can.
The money's in the banana stand.
There's always money in the banana stand.
Is that a Arrested Development reference?
There's always money in the banana stand.
How many times have I told you there's always money in the banana stand? So after listing those, any chapters or movies catch your ear?
I feel like not just because it's Coco, but the theme of forgiveness. It's not talked about enough. If there's 2 hours that we get to throw the idea of forgiveness and its importance and its healing powers and how it's liberating out into the universe, let's do it. I'm excited about it.
Nice. Class and Poverty? I've just never seen Parasite, and I've only heard good things about it.
We have a handful of foreign movies this season too, so we're getting into really broadening our lenses quite a bit, because that one's Bong Joon-ho as the director, and I think Korean, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then we have the German. I'm pretty sure it's German.
I do like the movie Promising Young Woman, so if you get to see that one, that one's in my top 50.
Well, okay.
And then Bicycle Thief, I think, is
Thief
foreign. So yeah, some KMax had stepped out, but so Bicycle Thief that was our dip into a little bit of film class there.
Oh my,
yeah.
I've never heard of it, and he brought it up the other day, so I could look it up a little bit. But it's that one's an artish. film.
I wouldn't even call it like artsy. I think it's more almost like a departure of like your Hollywood and your glitz and glamour, and it's more, hey, I can use film to do this also. And
Okay.
but yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
No, I'm excited for season 2.
Yeah, I feel like season 1 was getting to know us and kind of introducing you guys to like some new tools, a new tool bag that you can use, and hopefully season 2, you can upgrade the tools, maybe grab a few more tools, and we'll see how the conversation goes, because there'll be a little bit more autonomy, and I'm also introducing a new mechanic to season 2, and it's called scene perception.
Oh.
So it won't happen every episode, or every movie episode, I should say. But scene perception, it'll be one scene in a movie that might be ambiguous or have certain different meanings depending on how you perceive it. And I'll ask each of us to explain how we viewed that scene, what we felt, what we thought that meant for the story, or symbol or metaphor, or what it meant for the theme, even. So that's scene perception. So it'll give us another. We've been looking under the microscope at like 10x, and that might go into like 50x.
Oh, my.
That we go into a specific.
You're going to give
scene.
us a heads up about the scene before you.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're going to show up and be like, okay, so here's the scene.
And
Go.
Why is KMax peeing himself?
But that's every episode.
Yes.
I like it. I
All
like
right.
it. I'm excited.
So-
I'm excited for this season.
Yeah.
fun.
And like we said, KMax is. I don't really use Instagram or much social media. I don't think Tin Man does either. So KMax is our last
I
hope
don't have
for,
an Instagram, yeah.
for like
Yeah,
Instagram
I love
and
it.
that sort of thing.
And ours sits there. I check it once in a while. I'm like, there's some feedback, and I post nothing. I'm like, you're just a mess. We got to get on it. That is Depth Perception Movie Podcast. Depth Perception Movie Podcast on Instagram. Give us a follow.
Yeah, and who knows? I might transfer some of the stuff to like YouTube or whatever too. But I feel like those would be almost more video essays and a lot more work for Mr. Vozly. But I do intend to design, because I am a nurse, but my first degree was in computer art. So I intend to design alternate movie covers, like Blu-ray movie covers, for the movies that we reviewed, and the covers would be simple art that conveys topics, metaphors, symbols, events, scenes, what have you, important objects or whatever from those movies as the cover, so that you could get these covers and kind of replace, if you have the movie at home, replace that. And even when I'm done, each season might have its own poster that has a collection of all these covers.
Beauty.
So hopefully I can get that done. But I think that'd be a cool addition to whatever art we have at. Also, shout out to Hilltop Cuts.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. Listen, we got the Hilltop Cuts, and we have Battle Flag Tavern, who's close to being on the sponsorship role. They proudly post our podcast poster in the bar there down on Center Street in Lewiston. That's kind of cool. There's been a few listeners that have reached out and said, "Hey, it's brand new to the podcast. Sounds pretty cool. Can't wait to listen." I'm like, "Well, keep listening, then let me know."
Yeah. Nice.
All right. Any other comments from Tin Man, KMax?
No, season 1 was awesome. I really enjoyed the time that we got to spend and review and delve into the depths.
Yeah, felt good to be back.
And ready ready to rock season 2.
In the words of Jay-Z, looking forward to season 2. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is